And that was in what, 2015? Am I correct? Or somewhere around
2015.
there. It's been going on
Yeah,
for quite some
around
time. Huh?
2015. Yeah, it's been a while.
And now you
Great.
guys, yeah, no, definitely. And now you are evolving to the Beat the Judges in the new
Yes.
Forge and
So
Fire
we had a
program.
spin-off right
Yes.
after that from Ford because everybody, the fan base kept on saying, we want to see the judges compete. We want to see the judges
Yeah.
compete. So after 7 seasons, finally we were able to do that. Now,
Okay.
I'm not a blade maker.
Yeah.
People get me confused. I represent the end user, one who uses one.
Sure.
I design knives though.
Yeah.
I'm a knife designer based on my martial arts. So I've designed for K.E.Al knives, for Fox knives,
Okay.
for Max Venom, Russian blades. So I design blades, usually tactical use and for combat, but also regular use with the kukri with Jason knife. So that's my background on that. Do I forge blades? I've done it a couple of times. It's not my forte. I'm not very good at it, but
Makes two of
I've
us.
done it so that at least I can totally understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
For was as a judge, I watch everything that they're doing. I wanted to try. It was fun because when I finally did it with the guidance of the mastersmith Jay Nielsen with me, um, and then I took some courses after that in my own city when we were off season.
Hmm.
I really appreciate it, but I wanted to actually forge, making every mistake. Hey,
Yes.
I see you're not supposed to do this. Let me do this. Hey,
Yeah.
I learned that we're doing so. That was a revelation to actually do something like a child, meaning don't be afraid to make a mistake. I
Yeah.
think as adults, we're always trying to be perfect right away. When I said, okay, now I'm going to forge, because the instructor was like, don't do that. He goes, no, I want to experience every mistake. Because if I make all the mistakes now, everything is icing on the cake later on. I'm going to learn to do it right. So I
Definitely.
was doing it and I loved it because now I truly understood. You see, it's one thing to copy things to learn how, it's a different thing to understand. If you know the why, then the how is even easier.
Definitely. So look, I've never ever forged anything in my life, but I've also got a passion for blades and swords, and I think I got my first knife when I was 11 years old. I think it was. My
Mhm.
parents bought me a Bowie knife, which is really really
Nice.
great. But I took the chance to actually make a showpiece sword, or so I've made two of them, the samurai swords. I love them. So pure amateur, got an angle grinder, got a bit of stainless steel, grinded it, bent it, polished it, put the handle on, and that's what it is. So it's definitely not functional or battle ready.
But you made something with your hands.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm trying. I think the essence of Forge and Fire is to be literate with your hands again.
Mm,
So much in today's world, we're all about technology. Nobody plays anymore. Nobody goes out and makes stuff. Everything's all about production or electronics or technology. To be able to go back into forging and make something from an idea
mm,
and then create something real, the sense of accomplishment. That's why, okay, so I design knives. They're mostly production knives, right? Made
yes.
by company, because it's for produce. But when I see forging a blade, there's a transference of a soul. A piece of you is in that blade. And forging is an international thing. It's all over the world. It's historical. There are so many legends, so many romances of spirits in the blade, and all these different things that I truly believe that somebody puts a piece of them when they create something.
No, definitely. Especially if it's not a spiritual piece, it's always got the blood, sweat, and tears that go with it, because there's always blood, sweat,
Absolutely.
and tears. So, what is your most memorable episode or experience during Forge and Fire?
I guess, there's so many episodes and we're coming up. By the time we're done with season 8, we would have done 230 episodes. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I guess the memorable ones are the ones where we had so much fun in the background,
Mm,
because working with the judges, they become people around the studio become your short-term family.
yeah.
The memorable ones are when we have mishaps or where we're being goofy with each other. That to
Hmm.
me is memorable. When we're like one time we were doing a movie piece and I had some popcorn and we were eating popcorn and I get to be myself and Will walks over and slaps some popcorn off my hand. I'm like, what? Because we're just having fun.
Yeah.
It's not scripted in that way. The show is
Okay.
not scripted. We have guidelines of what we say, but we are representing ourselves.
Yes.
None of us are actors. No, Dave is an actor. Actually, he used to be an actor. Then he became a recreation specialist, making props and everything else based on
Mm,
his love for history and being exposed to the movies. So he started making recreating these pieces. But the rest of us truly are ourselves. Will is a former pararescue and ranger in the military and a host because he's hosted different shows
mm,
before. Jay Nielsen is our resident master smith, the only one we have there that's a master smith.
Yeah.
Ben Abbott is an engineer who was a fan favorite, who became our resident blade maker when Jay's not around. Then you have Dave. Dave is a sword maker. So he's got that understanding of the sword and everything else based on being exposed in Hollywood and being able to recreate it in a very fast way. And I represent the end user. My background, obviously, is an edge weapon specialist, but really it only means that I've studied and specialized in Kali, which is a weapons-based martial art. And I try to approach my job based on what makes sense. What is the logic behind the creation of this weapon? Because there are a lot of weapons out there that don't even have manuals of its use. So we do as best we can to research it, and then we try to recreate it. Oh, sorry, got off track. The Barbarian Sword was fun. Because the Barbarian Sword episode, I mean, that's memorable, was when both swords are so equal, it is so hard to pick. And we really said, you know, this guy won. This guy didn't lose. This guy basically just won. But this other piece there, I mean, we applauded him too when he walked away because it was two beautiful pieces.
Yeah. So that's what I've noticed as well. We quite a few episodes. Look, I watch them all the time religiously. I put them on YouTube and I just watch and watch and watch. And what I've definitely noticed is there are so many times where the blades are so close and there's one tiny little difference that makes the cat or doesn't make the cat, as you call it, you know? So it must be so difficult to choose, because if it was my choice, I'd take all of them. I'd keep all of them.
Absolutely. You know, even that, you know, because as a, you know, using as an end user who studies combat arts and everything else, just because a blade breaks doesn't mean I stop the fight. I still want to go test. I still want to do that. And we've learned that. I remember our first season, we were still trying to figure out how we're going to do this. When the blade breaks, and I told the producers, let me continue to cut. Let me continue to test it. So what if it's broken? You know, like, no. It's not about your art or you, Doug. It's about a competition where we have to separate the blades. The tests are there so we are able to show which blade is the best.
Yeah.
It's not there about the tests. So the tests are just to be able to separate it. In the end, what a lot of people don't understand also is they don't get to feel the weapons. That's a big difference that people don't understand. You can make a blade, but if it's very heavy or unbalanced, you will never pick it up again. You know, they're wall hangers. Think about it in history. Oh, that's a big blade and everything. Good, because our battlefield is a week away. Good luck carrying that with you every day. By the time you get there, you're probably so exhausted you won't even fight anymore. Exactly. And you're in a melee, you should be able to use the weapon movement. You know, and it was interesting because we actually went to the museum in New York City, Metropolitan Museum over there. So we got to see the weights of actual blades, Viking swords, Japanese swords. I was shocked at how light they were. You would think these monsters are big and heavy. They're not, because you have to use them in combat. So being able to understand that from a historical point of view and a modern use is very important.
No, definitely. You can't have anything that's unrealistic or even overblown in size-wise and weight-wise, or else you're just not going to be able to yield it properly, you know, especially sword.
And they don't see that. You watch that, but you can't feel it. And it affects the test. I remember sometimes in the beginning part, I felt bad because I can't make the weapon work the way it should be. And I feel bad. But then I was told, you know, later on as we were discovering, he goes, Doug, no, you should not add more skill, because that's not being evenly testing each person. You should wield it the same way you do every blade, because it's a test. It's not about your skill. It's about being able to test everything equally. I did it with this, and that's what happened. I did it, and sometimes, but people go, well, the blade kind of like bent to the side. Yeah, because the weight distribution is different. And if I try to correct more to make it work, I'm putting more work on somebody else's work than I did the other guy. That's not equal testing.
Yeah, it's definitely not
fair.
So
a lot of people don't understand that we as judges have to do our best to try to be fair for every test that we do. And there's always a human factor, but we're learning as we go.
Oh, that's brilliant. Though. At least you're trying to be as fair as possible with every single test. You know, you can't be a little bit biased and favor a specific weapon rather than someone else's weapon that they've made.